Alright, it is finally Friday, and I'm going to start getting this engine pulled. So should have it within about an hour, and then we're going to start swapping things over here. We got to strip this engine, get the turbo off, get everything off the front, get everything off the side, get the wire harness off, and we got to get the adapter plate off. We got to get the motor mounts off, the fuel bowl, all that stuff's got to come off. You can see this is all different. I don't know what this is, because that one, I don't even think my 06 doesn't have that. No idea. But like I said, get all this off. PCM mount can stay. We're going to pull the power steering pump off, the belt, all that. Actually kind of nice. I'm going to see if he wants to get rid of this belt, because you guys, I got to show you this. I'm going to get some parts on order today. But unfortunately, Bertha, I fired it up this morning and it was squeaking. And I get under the hood, right? And the belt's all but shredded. So it also skipped some teeth down there as well. So something happened here. I don't know. I think one of the pulleys is bad. I'm going to check that probably at the end of the day, and probably do the full send diesel lower heater hose. So I need to get that done. That's going to take me like, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes, something like that. But initial thing is get this engine stripped, get that out, and get that engine stripped, and start taking the parts off of that. AC compressor, we're going to keep the whole AC together, and we'll go from there. So we're going to use the fuel bowl and all that stuff. So like I was saying in the previous video, these engines, we get a 90-day guarantee on these, so if anything happens, I can go swap it out. I got to take, more rambling, I got to take that back there and put it on the new engine, because we're not going to get this one in. I'm going to pull this off yet. So a couple little odds and ends. We are almost done and ready to go. That coolant looks like absolute dog shit, so probably not going to reuse that. But our engine is out. It's on the ground. It's ready to go. The only thing I fought was the starter wire, the clip that clips on. I can't even get it off on that motor. But everything's out. Looks like this transmission was done at some point. But what we're going to do is, so I have the transmission harness separated and everything, so we're going to try to get this one stripped down to about this level. And then we're going to start putting it back. We're going to put it in, and then we're going to assemble it while it's in the truck. Main reason for that, I mean, you got stuff like this. All this stuff needs to come off. The adapter plate, the turbo needs to come off. I'm going to have to put you can see there's a bolt here. I'm going to have to put the heat exchanger in there as well. Luckily, we did not strip any threads. It was close, because the bottom one, I have it sitting over here. The bottom one here, I got this one off perfect, and then the bottom one decided to, actually this one's the bottom one. It decided to start spinning both threads, so I had to get a 23 and a 22 on there to get it. But you guys will want to take the motor mounts off, and if you can't get the motor mounts in the truck, just take off the 315 mil bolts, and you can pull the bottom part of the motor mount, and then this thing will literally slide the whole way forward, which will clear the cowl, and then you can lift it up and over. If you try to do this with the motor mount still on, you're going to smash those injectors or the valve cover or anything into the top. So anyone saying that you have to take the injectors and you have to take all this stuff off, I only took the valve cover off so I didn't damage it with the chain. A lot of guys have a better system where it just connects to these two bolts, which I would like to get eventually, but this works for now. You definitely want like a middle point. So with that being said, you do not need to take off the valve cover, and you do not need to take off the oil pan. You don't need to take the injectors, none of that. It literally will just pull right out. Like I said, once the oil pan hits this, you can lift up and pull right out. So, I was wondering where that bolt went. I was looking for that. Started to drop right there. But, yeah, I think really the hardest part of this is fishing the wiring through and whatnot. So when we get the new motor put in, I'm going to start you need to strip all this stuff down realistically to get the wire harness and stuff kind of fished through. Like the harness goes up underneath the heat exchanger, which is why I pulled that out. So you guys will see this engine was leaking out the rear main and just a bunch of other places. Not the cam seal, that's normal. I don't think there's supposed to be oil there. But, yep, she's coming apart. So, hoping to have this engine stripped down and everything ready to go in before the end of the day. But we shall see. The deadline was Sunday, but I don't think we're going to get it done by Sunday. I'm realistically thinking Tuesday or Wednesday, because Saturday I have a job to go do, and Sunday I can work on this. Monday I have a job to go do, so Tuesday or Wednesday I think are going to realistically be the best bet. Alright, so it's about 5:20 right now. What we're going to do is end up getting out of here. This is where I'm going to call it. We got the engine in, the transmission in, everything's bolted up. I got one of these in. I need to go get some more Loctite. So I will finish those up on Sunday. Sunday, we're going to start trying to wrap this thing up as much as physically possible. And then hopefully, if not Monday, Tuesday, we will be driving this thing out of here. Like I said, we're going to do an oil change, fuel filter, whole 9 yards, and go from there. So no, we're not regasketing the whole motor. Sometimes we do that, but it's not in the budget and customer needs it back as quick as possible. So that's what we're going to do. It did just start pouring as well. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Also, I gotta get this whole mess cleaned up, but I had to back the truck in because it's pouring pretty good. So, other than that, this turbo off of this engine, somebody decided to do that and pull this off, or it broke or something and pulled apart. So, it's got a nice little crack in the manifold. But it's an HE341 on this engine. So this is, like I said, we're basically going to do the 325 high output engine with the OEM turbo that goes on this truck anyway, the HE341, which I actually like the 341 better than the 351. I think it spools better. That's just me. So same exhaust housing and all that, but I do think it spools better. This might help Canada a little bit. I don't know about you guys though, but California's on fire, you know, a pretty good amount of the year. And I've never seen the smoke come to other states. Kind of think there's some bullshittery going on, if you guys... Well, that's going to do it at this point. I did not get around to doing mine. I wanted to get this as close to done as possible. Now that I'm all clean, I can start throwing her back together. So we didn't have to drain the AC, or drain the power steering, or drain a lot of the trans. Did have to drain a little bit because of the heat exchanger that... Oh, it's right there. That had to be drained a little bit, but putting that thing back on is going to be a pain in the ass. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the wires from back there first, route everything. I think I'm going to do... Yeah, I'm probably going to route the wire harness before I put anything back on this truck. And then we'll go from there, because all these little bolts here I left on, and I left them over here as well. I got this guy off so that there's a little bit of flexibility. But you can see all these bolts here I left on so that I know exactly where certain harness pieces go and whatnot. All those little... Every bolt you take out, you should always put back in the same place. You guys can see with the AC compressor. This compressor came out nice. The other AC compressor, which this happens on a lot of them, I'm surprised that this one didn't have it happen. Right here. You can see one of the bolts seized. So luckily, I was able to bend this and then spin this off counterclockwise, and it actually came out. But these get seized inside the compressor because whoever in their infinite wisdom put holes there. So the aluminum seizes inside with the steel, and it just creates a nightmare. So we'll test the AC and all that stuff, make sure the trans is bled before we throw it all back, but that makes it a lot easier. So we're going to basically reuse the AC, reuse the power steering, reuse everything that we can, and get this thing going. And we're going to switch these bolts out as well, because whoever had one of these hex bolts in, or Torx, whatever, someone had one of them in. We're going to use the standard ones. And we do need to get some exhaust manifold gaskets, all that. Those, oil filter. I had to pull this out of the way. I didn't want it to snap. We'll set that right there in the meantime. But once the wire harness is mounted, I will mount the PCM. And I think that's how our game plan is going to be. I think we'll be all but 99% on Sunday. Other than probably not going to put the turbo on right away, because I don't know, I won't have parts until Tuesday, so I think that's how it's going to be. But that's going to do it. If you guys need any work or need pretty much really anything to do with these Cummins, hit me up, cpstevemiller.com. We are booked up until at least Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. It's Friday now, so I have work on Saturday, got to finish this on Sunday. I have another job on Monday, I have another job on Tuesday, plus this one. And then Wednesday, I think I'm free and clear. Might even take off Sunday to go get a lot of the maintenance done on the other stuff, but I do try to work on Sundays. And then I'm going to obviously wipe this thing down and make her pretty nice before the customer takes it. And we'll drive it around for a little bit, make sure everything is all good and whatnot, and not, no bullshittery. So I didn't realize how little I filmed yesterday, but today is Saturday now. We had to reschedule today's job for tomorrow. And then Monday's job I'm going to probably reschedule so I can get that done on Monday into Tuesday. And then this, we are installing the full send diesel transmission line, or full send diesel lower heater core hose. So I got all this other junk out of the way. This was an absolute pain in the ass to get off. This thing was tight. But we're going to be replacing that with AN fittings because mine leak for some reason somewhere. One of those lines. So this is going to go into the factory line up top, and then this will screw down here. I'm hoping there's an easy way to mount this because it doesn't look like it comes with brackets or anything. So this was the factory bolt, so I'm going to try to find something that I can screw it in to the block, and we shall go from there. But I'm going to get this in and tighten down as hard as I can, and then we'll throw this line in. Throw this up to the factory spot, which I'm going to get right now. I'm going to undo that, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So if nobody's noticed lately, I really hate working on my own stuff anymore. So I was kind of dreading doing this, but I did get it installed. You guys can see it goes down, back, behind, and down in. So it doesn't touch anything. It's zip tied up out of the way, and I'm going to drive it home, fill it up with coolant, and then we have to go pull some parts off of Otis for sale. So besides that, I'm gonna get this mess cleaned up, and then we are done for the day here. So now that's done, like I said, I'm really relieved that it's done because I have been dreading doing it for all week ever since it came in. But I do need to do the belt yet. I have all the parts and whatnot. I am definitely not doing it today. I got other stuff I need to get done. So we got some customer stuff. I want to get the bike done, and then this I can handle probably sometime next week. Or if it snaps on me, I'll just be forced to do it. I keep the parts in the truck, so now we're gonna drive it home and hope she doesn't overheat. Well, so much for Bert. Look, see all that? We blew out the top radiator hose. I was filling it up, and I noticed. I thought the water pump blew out, but yeah, it blew out the top hose. There's a pinhole somewhere in it. So I'm gonna have to go get a top hose now. It blew everywhere, so I'm gonna have to clean this up and everything. That sucks. But I'm gonna call it quits on this video because I will see you guys in the next one, and I am gonna go work on the bike because I know how you guys love bike content. See that over there? That box? You'll see it.